Oh, tee my friends, my witches. It's going to be an interesting night. Really interesting. I just got into my OBS to go live and totally did not connect it with my scheduled thing. So I had to try that again. So what I was waiting for was something that was never going to happen. Okay, sound check, test 1 2 1 2. My microphone is unmuted. Okay, now, wow, look at the chats already. Hi, Dars. Oh, yeah, yeah. Hello, Sam. Yes, there is. Well, yeah, should be very interesting tonight. Riders on the Storm, yeah, great song. And that lag, like I said, no, there is not a lag tonight. In fact, there seems to be very little lag tonight. But it was a long journey to get here. Um, our internet has been doing just funky ass things all day, just, buffering and all kinds of shit. And there was a Spectrum truck down the hill. So it's like, will we have internet? Then I was starting to bust a headache with the sunny, no, it's rainy, no, it's sunny, no, it's rainy. And it's like, oh, and I've got the windows open and it's spring. So my sinuses, all this shit. So I just stopped thinking about it and just started getting ready. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. And I'm sorry, I've got. Okay, Sam, you rolled Virgo, Jupiter. So Jupiter and Virgo in the 10th house. Okay, let's see. Hello, Becca. Hello, Marcy. Marcy and Darcy. Yeah, it's been kind of wacky. Hi, Tavia. Good. Oh, I hope I'm back. I mean, I see me, and it's on the thing that I scheduled. So, and I won't explain the whole OBS thing to you. But anyway, here I am. Yay. And of course, we're going to do our Astrodice, but there's already something that I want to talk about planetarily, and you may have been hearing about it. I'm sure Tavia knows what it is. Oh, am I frozen? No, I'm not frozen for me, darling. Well, we'll see. We'll see what we get through here. At any rate, what I want to talk about tonight is Jupiter conjuncting Neptune in Pisces. Ooh, you want to know why everything's weird? Why weirdnesses are expanding? Why, we're having a hard time making practical connections, maybe? Well, let's talk about it. Okay. No, I think Sam might have had an issue with her internet. I hope she comes back. At any rate, here we go. And did I? Wait. Oh, darling. No, oh, I did. Okay. I'm very spacey. Very spacey. And you might be spacey too. That's all this Pisces energy. And what's so important about this is that Jupiter is the original ruler of Pisces. Then Neptune was discovered. And astrologically, when new planets are discovered, there's a study period. First of all, there may be some really obvious things that are going on at the time. But generally, astrologers study, they plug the new planet into charts and just start seeing what it's affecting. They start looking at aspects, mundane astrologers looking at what's going on globally, all this kind of stuff, and then it really becomes clear what's going on. Neptune was discovered in September of 1846. In October of 1846, the first true anesthesia was used during surgery. So before that point, you had opium or alcohol was basically it, or literally bite a fucking bullet, and scream your head off and whatever. Have a team of men holding you down so they could do whatever they needed to do. But ether was first used right on the heels of Neptune being discovered. And I was reading a thing, and it's pretty funny. This guy was a dentist, and he used it And then he used it on himself, used it on a patient successfully, used it on himself, and then he started using it like on every kind of animal he could find. And when nobody keeled over, he thought, okay, it's safe. So he said it erased the bad memories. So it's kind of put you in a, the fact that they call it ether, and when we talk spiritually about ether, you know, the ethereal realm, we're talking about the formless realm, the purely energetic realm. Everything is formless. So Neptune is one of the 3 outer planets that were discovered. I can't remember when Uranus was discovered, but it kicked off the industrial age. Neptune kicked off the discovery of anesthesia, and also the spiritualist movement. There were certainly opium dens before that, but the spiritualist movement was another big thing that happened, they say, mid 1840s, so right about when it was discovered. And so Neptune has come to be known as the dissolver. And what it does is, you think about what dissolves, well, outer form dissolves. You know, anything that's hard, anything, something has to have substance in order to dissolve. It dissolves boundaries, it dissolves illusions, it brings illusions, it dissolves, you know, anything that has a boundary. So you can talk about boundaries between people. So when you have the experience of really connecting with a human being, like soul to soul, in a way you can't explain, that's Neptune. When you're in a tangle with someone codependently and you can't tell whose emotions, you know, which emotions are yours and which ones aren't yours, emotional boundarylessness. Bliss, Neptune rules bliss and ecstasy and any of those places where you lose that idea of having a solid identity and a solid ego. So it dissolves your outer form. So Neptune and Pisces are what can bring us to those intense, indescribable experiences of unity. You know, unity with what? Unity, period. Unity means unity. Everything is one, you know? So, and the last time Jupiter and Neptune were conjuncting in Pisces was in 1856. And the next time is going to be 2188. So it's a long time, you know, and Neptune's been in Pisces for a while, Jupiter's been in for a little while, and they're now conjuncting at 24 degrees. So if you have your natal chart, you can plug in 24 degrees Pisces and see where this conjunction is sitting. Now, when you have planets making an aspect like a conjunction, which means they're occupying the same degree, generally what we have, there are 2 different kinds of aspects in general. There's applying and separating, as far as, you know, the motion of aspects. Applying means the faster planet is coming up to the slower planet. Separating is once that faster planet has gone past the slower planet, or the slower planet. So the faster planet in any aspect is kind of considered the triggering planet. It's the one that is affecting the other one. The other one's sitting there minding on its own business, and then this other planet comes up and makes an aspect, right? So Neptune, just to go on a little bit more about Neptune, Neptune rules escapism of any sort. It's anything like bliss, like ecstasy, that takes you out of yourself. You know, your solid, the illusion of the solidity of ego, like I said before. It also takes you out of yourself like alcohol does, like drugs do, like going to a movie, sitting in a dark theater and getting completely absorbed in the movie does, like music does, like, you know, anything, like dance does, like, you know, anything that gives you that escape comes under the umbrella of Neptune. Jupiter is expansion, the expansion principle. So Neptune in Pisces is in its own home. Pisces is a mutable water sign. It is a sign of endings. It rules the 12th house, which is a house of endings. Mutability means when things kind of break down and change for the next thing to start. It's the end of a season, the last month of a season, where the qualities of that season are kind of dissolving and breaking away, and then the new season, comes a swinging. So Jupiter, the expansion principle coming up on Neptune, Jupiter expands Neptune's energies. It sort of brings things into a more tangible realm, because Jupiter does rule worldly things, adventure. It rules the globe itself, long distance travel, foreign things, foreign countries, philosophies, mind expansion, anything that can expand, generosity, humor, joviality, anything that just makes you feel, big and happy, largesse, generous, So Jupiter coming up to expand Neptune has a lot of, and of course with astrology, everything is potentials. Everything is potentials. It doesn't make or cause things to happen, or else, the same sorts of things would happen each time the conjunction happens. But this, if we look at the opportunity, Jupiter rules opportunity of Jupiter conjuncting Neptune. And when you have planets conjunct, there's a little bit of a wrestling match. One planet is going to be slightly stronger than the other, depending on which one is better placed in that sign. Well, they are both very comfortable in that sign. Jupiter used to rule Pisces. Neptune now rules Pisces. So they are both incredibly comfortable, which means we're not going to be looking at like big conflict energies here. It's just this, expansion, this kind of dissolving of, like I said, weirdnesses. So I wanted to go here. Here's a book, Rex Bill's rulership book. If you're serious at all about astrology, you must get a hold of this book. Okay, I'm going to catch up with some things here. Okay, now, yay, Samantha, you're back, yay. Wish big and call it all in. Beautiful, Tavia. Gone by May and not returning until 2188. That's right. And not returning in terms of, Jupiter's not going to go past Neptune and then retrograde back to conjunct it in Pisces. Okay. I just want to go through. So this book has an alphabetical listing. So you can look up things like, just thought of a good one here. Oops. Let's look up neurosis. Neurosis, neurotic persons. What do you know? Neptune. See? Whoopsie, dropping things, losing train of thought. Thank God the moon is in Virgo tonight, because I do have a chance of getting some words out of my mouth. If the moon were in Pisces right now, it would be all over. I would just sit here vibing at you. Okay, so in the chapter about Neptune, then it has a chapter about every sign, a chapter about each planet, a chapter of each house, and it's just nothing but keywords, right? So let's just go down here for Neptune. Abnormal behavior, absent-mindedness, the abstract, actors and actresses, addicts, aesthetics, aliases, alibis, alcohol and alcoholism, alienation, disappearing, alienation is disappearing, trust, connection, ambiguities, it's not this and it's not that, Neptune rules fog and vapor, steam, mist, anything that makes your vision unclear. Okay. Anemia, anesthetics, ambushes. Why? Because somebody hides. So things that hide, apothecaries, aquariums, aqueducts, artifices, assumptions, ballet, barnacles, bartenders, beaches, blackmail, let's see here, galoshes, evasion, fading. So you get the idea of, get the kind of the essence of Neptune is anytime you go, I can't quite get a grasp of it, that's Neptune. When you, Neptune rules like that ethereal kind of beauty. So Neptune does rule beauty, but it's kind of that that beauty that just goes beyond the sum total of the parts. Marilyn Monroe had Neptune rising in her chart, and she had that glow. She had that luminescence. Her skin was like this translucent. And, you know, why did people just lose their fucking minds over Marilyn Monroe? It was Neptune. Okay, so Jupiter, hello, Jessica, welcome. Yay. Yeah, dropping things, just not quite tuned into our own earthly processes here, losing words, forgetting things. That's where I've been. Yeah, balance issues, ears. My ears have been doing funky things. Like I said, I thought, oh man, I'm getting a big headache, and then the headache was gone. So just very interesting, strange things. So what I want to look at is what opportunity we have. Now, since we're 15 freaking minutes in already, God. All right. Jupiter brings opportunity. Jupiter brings luck, beneficial things. Conjuncting Neptune, the dissolver. It can bring an opportunity to, I mean, first of all, if you're going to do any kind of trance work or meditation work or spiritual work or anything, whoo boy, have fun, you know? Just doing things that provide an escape, great opportunity for that. And then if we go to like spiritual, big spiritual things, which, you know, meditation, all that is, just easier access. We just have easier access to subtle realms. Neptune rules subtlety. So, you know, do spiritual work during this transit. I don't have my, oh yes, I do. Wait. I want to see, when it goes out of aspect. If you just indulge me. Here, it'll be easier to indulge me if I show you my screen. There. So let's animate this. And, ooh, there we go. And I'm going to go by, let's see, a couple weeks. So in 2 weeks, Jupiter has hit 27 degrees. That is out of aspect by transit. So just a couple more weeks. Take advantage. There we go. I'm back. So opportunities on a grand scale, on a global scale, to feel connected on a global scale. Jupiter is global. Anything that is global, mass media, global reach, you know, satellite stuff is Jupiter. So we have this opportunity to connect at an energetic level on a global scale with each other because our compassion has been engaged. You know, the grief that we're feeling about the genocide in Ukraine is triggering this sense of compassion and unity in us. And Jupiter conjuncts it, which brings just opportunities to act on that energy. So in practical terms, what does that mean? I'm not going to go that far. You get to do some studying on your own here. Okay, let's see what everybody's saying. 1856 was the last time it happened, Samantha. The antenna to God. Ooh, that's wonderful. So Tavia says Neptune is called the antenna to God. If something touches it, you can confuse them with God. Oh, yes. Well, Neptune rules confusion, illusion, delusion. It rules any kind of neurosis. It rules mental illness. It rules the things we hide from ourselves. Lying is Neptune. If I'm reading for someone that has a Neptune-Mercury aspect in their chart, to say it gently, we can say this person has a gift of fabrication when it comes to communicating. Oh my goodness. Physically shifting. Yes, things are physically shifting. Well, all this Pisces Neptunian energy is a feeling of just losing your grip, you know, just kind of losing touch, losing your grip. It pulls us a little bit more away from the practical realm, from the physical realm. So it can be tougher to, you know, stay on your feet and speak words that we all understand and stuff like that. Anyway, we're now 20 minutes in, so I'm going to get moving on, and I'm not going to do the astrology dice because holy crap. And I don't want to disappoint you, so I guess I am. I just won't spend a whole lot of time on them. And then I'm going to show you, well, I got to show you the decks first. Hold. Oh, for crying out loud. There. All right, I got to rearrange something here. There we go. That'll make it easier, maybe. You go back where you belong. There we go. Okay. So tonight we have the Light Seers Tarot. Ta-da! With my beautiful what's the word? Modification. Then we have Hollow Valley Deck of Symbols. I have the book here because I've not worked a lot with this deck and I still have to look some things up. We have the Sacred Rebels Oracle, Alana Fairchild. We have the Deck of Character. Loving this deck. And we have the Shadowscapes Tarot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the Amulets of the Goddess. Oh, my shoulders are so bad lately, you guys. All right, so here, let's just take a look at these. And before we do, how can I forget? Guides, guardians, allies, and ancestors, thank you so much for being there throughout my entire life. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here every minute of every day. I most especially welcome you into this circle, this global circle of spiritual people, open-minded, magical people. And I invite your messages. I am doing my best to just clear my mind so that I can hear you loud and clear. And let's have a little bit of a smoke cleanse. Praying I don't catch the nail polish on fire. Smoke cleanse for all the tools. And a blessing of salt water. Jeez. All right. And a bell. Let that bring you into your body. And now let the sound clear your space. And now let it bring your mind into sharp as possible focus. And to my guides, I offer you fresh water and I offer you the fire of Azrael. Ooh, that's a whopping heap I put on there. Come on, do your thing. I'm wafting it. I'm wafting it over my decks. Okay. All right, now, let's see where we go. Put my root down. Looky! Neptune! Looky! Sagittarius, the sign that Jupiter rules. This is when it's fun to be a witch. It's always fun to be a witch. And then we have, looky! The 9th house, the house that Jupiter rules. Dearie me. I love you guys. I love you. I love you, my guides. I love them so much. They're fucking showing up. So, you know, Neptune dissolves the boundaries and opens up what's possible. So since we have Jupiter, the planet that is affecting Neptune here, we've got both Jupiter sign and house. So we use this Neptunian dissolving energy in order to expand our consciousness, that's Sagittarius, to open our minds to differing philosophies, different cultures, different practices, differences across the board, to engage our curiosity about these things, wanting us to, the Neptunian sense of connection, to draw us into curiosity and wanting to learn more about things that we feel are foreign to us. And the ninth house is all of those things: philosophy, mass media, long distance travel. Guys, oh, don't laugh at me, please. Or, have at it. I'm laughing. So yeah, I don't have to talk about it much. There we go. Neptune, Sagittarius, ninth house. So Neptune rules mysterious things and things that we can't tell how that happened. How did that work? Spirits watching and listening. That's how that worked. Gosh, I could sign off and we'd be happy. All right. Okay. Regulus. Oh. Okay, I didn't. All right. Yep, I love the light seer with the different colors. Time to go surfing, huh? Surfing on the rogue wave of a portal. Surfboards, rafts, and inner tubes? Yes, it will. Yeah, deluge. Neptune rules the ocean. It rules deluge, it rules flood, it rules drowning, it rules anything that has to do with big, deep water. So guess what big, deep water is a symbol for? The unconscious. It rules the unconscious mind, the subconscious mind. I mean, we see it working. Let's just play with it. It's working. We don't need to describe it. I don't need to describe it anymore. You guys talk amongst yourselves, have at it. And I'm seeing that my frickin' iTunes is still being a bastard. Okay, let's take our little red die. Oh, little red die. Which deck are we going to look at first? Oh, oh, oh. 1. The Lightseer's Tarot. So I did ask some of these decks what they wanted to talk about tonight. And this one said that it wants to talk about strength and the Page of Pentacles. So strengthening ourselves and strengthening our mastery of strength talks about self-mastery, taming that beast within and taming it with love, affection, familiarity, connection, joining with, think about Waite Smith, strength card, and the woman has got the lion's head in her hands, and just that she is so calm in herself, so it is about mastering your own internal energies and your passions and your creativity in a very practical way. Page of Pentacles says learning new skills, learning new practical abilities. All right, let's see. Ooh, hee-hoo. Oh, just 2. This one came out first. We have the Tower and the Fool. Ooh. All right, let's see here. So, the Tower comes under the auspices of Uranus, with action that is, this is wanting to come off the bottom of the deck there. So let's let it. Oh my God. The devil. Here we go. All right. So, talking about self-mastery, and we have the Tower and the Devil, we need to come to terms with our own internal chaos, with our own upheaval, with the upset that we're feeling about the transformations, about the changes that are happening, the explosive events that are going on, we're seeing the breakdown of our social structures. We're watching and feeling the earth shaking under our feet. we are pitched into this time of realizing that there really is, that security, safety, things being like stable is kind of an illusion. Stability, because no matter where you are in the world, if you're thinking, oh, if things stabilize in this country, but somewhere else in the world things are not stable. So if we look at the system as a whole, it's not about stability, it's about balance. It's about, peaks and valleys. It's about resilience. And then we've got the devil over here holding out that hand. So look at her, and he's on the side of the lion here. So the lion in Strength card is talking about those passions that we can get carried away with, and Neptune makes us go blind, just blind. I have a focalized Neptune, and I've learned to recognize when I'm going blind. There's a certain feeling I get, and it's like that's my cue, if I can recognize it for what it is. Neptune, it can wear a million different disguises. But that's my cue to go, okay, wait, you're getting carried away. What is going on here? If something like feels too good to be true, I am so susceptible. Thank God I don't have money. So susceptible to people with these great pitches, and videos, and join my thing and you'll get, and I just feel that pull of yes, 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 take my money, but I don't have any money. So, and then I laugh. Then I laugh because it's like, yeah, it's a marketing pitch and I'm really vulnerable to that. So guess what Neptune rules? Vulnerability. So we have to look at how we're going to master ourselves when we're feeling strongly pulled in a direction that is going to make us lose sight of ourselves, that's going to make us lose sight of our own standards and ethics. When we just lose our sense of reality and go into idealism and illusion, we need to look at how we can master ourselves, learn to recognize those, and then master. Because as things start to break down, we more and more are going to go to what makes us feel good, right? Who can blame you? Who can blame us for saying, there's chaos all around, but I still got Easter candy, yeah. So self-mastery, and now we have this just beginning impetus of keeping our feet on the ground. And look at the devil and the fool here. So these are also similar. The devil is where you get like hooked by the gonads. There's just this, I gotta have it kind of thing. I say he talks about things that have more control over you than you have over them. So again, that thing where you kind of go blind, where you just, I don't care, I want it, is the devil. Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. And then the fool, look at the fool in this complete trust here. Guess what Neptune also rules? Trust. Because there's no barrier to you completely, trust is like an open way between two people. I don't know how to better describe it. I can't put what's in my head into words right now, golly. So here's the fool saying that it's time now to just begin again. I'm looking at how the Page of Pentacles is looking away from the devil and towards the fool. So looking more towards trust. When we do gain self-mastery, this is practical skills of self-mastery. And when we gain those, we can trust ourselves more. We can trust ourselves more. Let's see. Do I need anything else here? I don't know. I feel like I need one more. Let's see what happens. The devil came off the bottom of the pack. I could have looked at what else was on the bottom. Come on, give me one more, you guys. Just one more. There it is. Thank you. And we have 10 of Wands. So there is a burden that we're carrying. 10 of Wands says anything that anything can be overdone, you know? So, you know, if I do my little pyramid thing that I usually do, and we can talk about 10 of Wands being, ooh, just set the card on fire, why don't you? We can talk about 10 of Wands being anything that we overdo, and how then we gain self-mastery. But I think the idea here mostly is to come to terms with the fact that we do have passions as human beings. It's what leads us astray. Sensual pleasures lead us astray, which is why in Buddhism we do, you know, sitting meditation to learn how to tune into your core, your essence, rather than following just the dictates of the body. So when you're sitting in, you know, sesshin for 4 hours, and you're doing these, you know, hour-long sitting meditations where you're just sitting, zazen, and your brain is jumping all over the place, we're learning how not to follow the mind and how not to follow the body. We're learning, follow the mind, follow the body. We're learning how to put our focus towards the inner self, the zero, the no self, no ego, no identity, no, you know, just trying to get in touch with that core essence that is impossible to describe, Neptune. Okay. And we can be led in the direction of these practices when we find we've gone too far with something, when things become overwhelming, when things get overwhelming. All right. So let's expand on this story.
Who's up next, little guy?
Hi, Rainbow Lover. What a wonderful name. Neptune conjunct Mercury. Yep, that'll fog your brain. Okay, number 6. The amulets of the goddess. We're going to do one at a time here and see how it goes, because I do have to read these. All right. Welcome to my other viewers that are here and not checking in. They're hiding in your Neptunian 12th house there. Okay. So, here she is. There's a piece of my gray hair there. All right, she is Inanna. I almost went entirely with goddess decks tonight, but I decided not to. And here's how kind of lost I've been. Spending today, and I got a little bit done here, a little bit done there, and I'm doing things, and all of a sudden it was, and this is after I scheduled the live stream. Oh, I wonder what decks we're using tonight. Just hadn't given it a single thought all day long. Usually the night before I'm starting to think about things. Okay, Inanna, Awesome Queen, Self-Transformation. Let me see how long it is. I think I will read it all. Because tonight for me really is about opening up and letting Spirit speak. So here we go. Ancient Sumerians called her Awesome Queen of Heaven and Earth. Myths, hymns, and poems in her honor were repeated for hundreds of years, making her the most celebrated deity ever to grace human imagination. The story, The Descent of Inanna, consists of more than 400 lines and was inscribed on clay tablets in cuneiform writing approximately 4,000 years ago. However, her story may have been repeated some 1,500 years earlier in the oral teaching tradition. Her poetic myth was told and enacted again and again as a means of absorbing the people into the regenerative cycles of nature. Neptune rules absorption. Inanna's story invokes her triple aspect as a moon goddess. As a young maiden, she is courted by her paramour Dumuzi. As a mature, flowering, and generous woman, she knows and shares the profound pleasures of her sexuality. And as a wise and mature crone, she learns the mysteries of death from her journey into the underworld, where she passes through 7 gates. At each one, she is stripped of her worldly adornments, dissolve, and is eventually led naked to face her sister, Ereshkigal, goddess of death. Her corpse is hung on a peg for 3 days. After crying non-judgmentally for her dark sister, Inanna eventually returns as the awesome Queen of Heaven. She is then revived by 2 creatures made from the dirt beneath her father's fingernails who bring her food and water. Wow. When she returns, she must find a substitute to take her place in the underworld. So you get Persephone, Demeter and Persephone here too. Dumuzi and his sister Gestinana share this task, each descending to the underworld for half a year. This tale, similar to that of Demeter and her daughter Persephone, is likened to the menstrual cycle and a woman's journey through powerful physical, emotional, spiritual, and psychic transformation, eventually returning renewed. Called by many names, Inanna was goddess of plants, animals, and the fecundity of all nature. She may be seen as all 3 female characters in the epic tale: Queen of Heaven, Queen of the Underworld, and Sister, Mother, Lover, and Sister, representing the Trinity of Goddesses. In the patriarchal version, Inanna represents the sun goddess who penetrates the depths of earth to bring forth new life. Sylvia Pereira relates Inanna's journey to the psychic and transformational journey of all women who seasonally venture into the unknown depths of despair, anguish, and grief for retrieving the lost feminine. When you receive the goddess Inanna, she signals a time of awakening and activating your inner powers that shape your destiny and bring you closer to your heart's desire. In the myth of Inanna, from the great above, Inanna opened her ear to the great below. This tells us that Inanna heard something that prompted her descent, inevitably bringing her face to face with core issues. Often the call to address hidden issues. Listen to all the Neptune keywords, you guys. Okay. Often the call to address hidden issues comes unexpectedly. That was the Tower card there. I frequently tell my students that the voice of the underworld says, "Don't call us, we'll call you." The process is initiated by self-questioning or soul-searching. Begin by asking a lot of questions. You may already be questioning the direction of your sacred path and the powers that have guided you thus far, or your motivation in a particular career or relationship issue. What has sufficed at one time may no longer be useful. Something may be dissolving on you, something, if you, it's very obvious what we can apply this to on a global basis, but I want you to think about personally now. What is it that you're losing a grip on? What is it that you feel is dissolving? What do you feel? Just loss. Neptune rules loss. So something dissolving, going away, going into hiding, things that are in your subconscious. Questions are like lighthouses along the shore, guiding your journey home in foggy, stormy weather. Fog. Neptune. One question is sure to shine the light on another, evoking yet another. Each question reveals and inspires, that's Neptune, personal truths that help you live fully attuned to your inner self. Attunement would be Neptune. Inanna suggests you step into the heart of your child self. With curiosity, wonder, and spontaneity, ask yourself childlike questions. What would happen if? How would I, if I were going to? When would such and such happen if I? Pay close attention to the questions, live and love them. Remember, most young children are not concerned with answers. Let your questions stimulate essential core energy. The answers will reveal themselves in time. Listen carefully. The goddess Inanna amulet may also initiate a period of mourning, ruled by Neptune. This doesn't mean an actual death, but sorrow related to the grieving process. Inanna was released from the underworld because she wept for her sister Ereshkigal. Inanna wants to know if sister sadness is sitting at your core. If so, listen carefully to her message. We can expand sister sadness, Jupiter expanding the Neptune energy into the grief for the divine feminine, this collective yearning for mothering. I think we're getting tired of tough love daddies, and we're yearning for that mothering touch, that feminine, sacred feminine, to come into governments, to come more into practical living, not just, in our spare time or in the spiritual realm. If so, listen carefully to her message. Grieve whatever losses she may share with you. Cry for her and with her. Express your sadness. Getting in touch with old and sometimes painful feelings heals old wounds and makes room for harmony, compassion, and serenity in your heart. The word mourn means remember. Okay. Here's an affirmation. I have the courage to live my life closely attuned to my inner self, my true nature. I cannot be something I'm not. So when the zodiac, the wheel of the zodiac kicks off with Aries, and in the flat wheel on your chart, it's the first house, which rules the physical body. As we move around that wheel, we go from, Aries ruling the head, Taurus the jaw, lower jaw and the neck, Gemini ruling things that come in pairs, your lungs, your hands, your, ears, your nose, the airways, all that. And as we go around, Pisces rules the feet. But if you look at it on just a more holistic place, I guess, physical body is the first house, and at the end of the wheel is beyond the physical form, where we have transcended the ego. I'm hearing the phrase washed out. We've washed out whatever toxicity is kind of bound up with our ego through trauma. And hopefully when we get to the Pisces vibration, we are attuned and connected with our core essence that has no form, that has no body, that has no ego, that has no name, that has no solid identity. Okay? So Inanna talks about that journey. We're going to keep her right up here. All righty, let's see. Oh, I see from the last stream, stop carrying everyone else's load around. Yes, well, and that's Neptune too. Just being a sucker, that's Neptune. Having compassion for the underdog, that's Neptune. Pity is Neptune. But also being a sucker and a pushover and a doormat, that's also Neptune. Sacrifice. Inanna, that's right. So we're being called here to strip away and sort of engage with this process of dissolution that's happening. So dissolution, dissolving, right? So if we actively engage with this, we can just sort of let it work in the subconscious and then let things come up unexpectedly, like she was talking about there, or we can actively go at it by making space, creating space, sitting in sacred space, meditating, opening to it, not trying to grasp it with words. What we're after here is that connection with core and those experiences I was talking about last week, the mysteries, the lessons that you become, transforming, becoming closer and more in, identity with your core self. Okay, let's see. Wow. Yep, Doris, wow. Oh, what we don't deal with, and Pisces becomes our karma and comes back in the next cycle. That's right, Tavia. So, and I love you, Sam and Darcy, both of you, my dear, dear friends. All right, next up. We already had one. Now we have three. The Sacred Rebels. I did not interview this deck. So what do you have, Sacred Rebels? What do you have to add to our discussion tonight? They just told me, close your eyes. Easier for things to fly out. We have beyond the mind, the heart beats. So again, another message about coming to your core essence, getting beyond the narrative, beyond the mind, beyond the words, the constructs, even the philosophies. We're talking about these Jupiter things here, Sagittarius in the 9th house, beyond even philosophies, to essence, to the feel, to the vibe of it, All right. Beyond the mind, the heart beats. So I'm looking at DNA here. There's the helix of DNA. And there's the cosmos up here swirling around. So from the very smallest, tiniest level to the very largest, the totality of the universe. There's one heartbeat. There's one heartbeat. The universe itself pulses and beats. Everything has its pulse and its beat. So going beyond the mind and the daily schedules and the calendar and the clock and all of these things that try to rope us into structure, this Neptunian Piscean energy is calling us into non-structure, into beyond structure, beyond. So I'm reminded of the chant, Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Gate Gate, gone, gone. Paragate, gone beyond. Parasamgate, gone even farther beyond. Bodhisvaha, hail to the awakened one. So this is asking us, and you know, you can do meditations like to bring you back on a more sort of mundane basis, where you're sitting here thinking, you know, I'm really irritated, and ask yourself, who's the one that's irritated? Who is the one? Okay, go in. Who is the one that's irritated? And things like that. It may take you to a recognition of your ego. You know, the part of me that needs the attention is irritated that this other person is getting, you know. You know, who is irritated? The part, you know, the ego part of me that needs to now, go, and this person is going slow in front of me, and that irritates me. So it can bring you to that. Or you could say, you know, I am feeling so comfortable right now. Who is the one that is feeling comfortable? Or, you know, I just had this great idea. Who is the one that had the great idea? And there's no hard answer to that question. It is a process of answering that question and just bringing you to recognize the parts of yourself that, you know, identify as ego and identity, or identify as the indefinable, you know? Okay, I want two more. Faith in the process. Guess what Neptune rules? Faith. So, faith in the process. Know that if you give yourself, sacrifice, Neptune, giving yourself in totality is a Neptunian thing because it dissolves those boundaries, right? So, if you give yourself to a practice, a spiritual practice, any kind, whatever you do, but you give yourself to it wholeheartedly. And I know that when you first go into some kind of spiritual practice and they're saying you've got to do this, and, you know, here's how long it usually takes to get somewhere, which is, you know, 4 to 6 weeks of doing some kind of practice before you really start to feel it take hold. And, you know, you can be reading about a thing and your doubting mind is going, what, you know, that doesn't make any sense. So how can that be? Whatever. But this is talking about going beyond the mind to a place of, this person is writing about it, you know, how many thousands or millions before them have experienced that this works. I am going to have faith, and that means I'm going to give myself to the process. I'm not going to look for outcomes. I'm not going to judge and nitpick the process. I'm going to give myself to it and let it happen. And then over here, oh my goodness, says, softly, softly, the tender touch. So Neptunian. The touch of Neptune's influence is like a butterfly's eyelash, you know, soft, subtle, enveloping, so that you can lose yourself. You know, I see it like a pink cloud or a purple cloud. It's Neptunian, just those beautiful colors, but tenderness and softness. So you want to, let's try an experiment of getting beyond the mind, focusing on the heart, having faith that if I give myself to this and do it every day, just don't even question, every day, you know, then the process works, and to go about it with a very tender touch. So this is prime time for doing prayer work, for doing, energy work for the planet. Um, and so you can tap into these energies. We're swimming in this Neptunian, Jupiterian, Piscean river. So the energy is all around us. You can just jump in and ride, right? But when you do it softly and tenderly. Softly, we're not forcing ourselves beyond the mind. We're not getting frustrated with ourselves when we, can't focus totally to meditate one day, And doing things like Kelly Howell meditations, those binaural beat meditations for theta, where it is deep relaxation, trance state, those things, slap the headphones on and just do it. You don't have to try. But the dedication would be just showing up every day. Showing up every day, no questions asked, no thinking about it beyond the mind, just show up. All right? And most of all, being tender and soft with yourself. See the tear coming down here. There's so much, we're all carrying so much, and in this vulnerable time with all these Piscean energies, we're so sensitive, we're so vulnerable. We are picking up the vibe of the grief and the anger and the rage and the, going on around the planet. So be tender with yourself as you would be with someone in Ukraine right now, with someone who needs the most. Be as tender with yourself as you would be with that person. But get busy. All right.
Who's next? Number 2.
The Hollow Valley. So I did interview this deck, and I got Palm and Knot came out upside down, even though I don't have the cards turned. So Palm, I have to look things up. I already did, and I forget. You see the crown here. So we're talking about royalty. We're talking about honors, triumph, bliss, Neptune, victory, compassion, and glory. So, I mean, it seems kind of victory and glory seems kind of not in the same vibe as compassion. But bliss, victory, triumph, glory, bliss. When you think about that feeling of when you've, if you've ever competed in something, or you've ever, even just a contest or a raffle or something, or rehearsing for a play and having opening night, or being married, and something comes off successfully, and just that high, that bliss of, woo, we did it, wonderful, that wonderful high feeling. But then we've got Knot upside down. So right side up, Knot would talk about joining together, and I'm looking at this square knot where both sides are, it's symmetrical, both sides are equal. They're wrapped around each other in the same way, so you have this equal knot, and it's very strong. But it's upside down. And Palm talking about that bliss, certainly compassion, but I'm also thinking about, okay, what am I thinking about? Here it is. It came out upside down, you guys, sorry. And I mean, the deck is right side up, but it flipped when I turned it. Teeth upside down. This is going to be interesting. Okay. All right, catching up with the chat has gone a little silent. But yes, the butterfly effect, flapping its wing in one part of the world, can bring about wondrous winds or a hurricane in another part of the world. Cause and effect. That is just a statement of cause and effect, that every action you take has an effect. And just to be aware of it. Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to Knot as well. So Knot upside down is fate, entanglement, responsibility, and restraint. Teeth upside down, anxiety, ferocity, nervous system, defensiveness. Oof. So what I'm seeing is, defensiveness, but also clinging, being sort of entrapped and entangled in this idea of triumph and victory. So what I'm going to go with here is our whole warlike structure, our whole warlike paradigm that we have been living with through this Piscean age. We're in the age of Pisces right now. So all of this Piscean energy can really be showing us what it is we need to see before this comes to an end into the Aquarian age, which doesn't happen for a while yet, you guys. A while. Like not in our lifetimes. Okay. So, and look at the plants in all of them. I'm a little cockeyed on my desk. I need to straighten my camera is what I need to do. But I want it to look nice for you. So, okay. So palm, teeth, and knot upside down. All right, let's see how we transform this. Let's keep going. Beyond to essence. We want to win politically, but that's not the only playing field. Okay, we have river. And we have cow. They're flipping themselves around. Okay, these three are all upside down, so I'm going to put them right side up. All right. So river obviously is a flow. We've got this, defensiveness and victory, this idea of, everything is a threat, the paranoia that we have, and we're kind of addicted to it and entangled in it. So that first line is reading very clear now. Thank you for that frame, Tavia. That we really do have this frame of everything's a threat, and we've got it, this is what has us spending billions of dollars on military equipment when children are starving in this very own country, our very own free USA. All right. River. Change, cleansing, trusting the journey. Again, there's that trust idea and faith. Remaking and passage. Let's see cow upside down. Okay. Overprotection. Attachment, fear of the other, stagnation. Oh my God. So we do need to move forward. There's a passage that we need to move forward, but we're too paranoid about it. And we're too entangled in this idea of defensiveness, and that we have to, all right, I've got three, so let's do all three here. Look at that. Net, metamorphosis, and antler. So net, we certainly are getting caught in our own net. Look at the hands. That's why I wanted to use these, because then I will learn them better. Interconnectedness, devotion, support, and community. So net is kind of like web in this deck. Is there a web in this deck? U-B-W? No, there is not. So net is like web. It's showing all these threads and saying that we're connected. And the image I'm getting when I'm seeing this net in the hands is, all the people pulling on the net together, working together to haul in, what's in the net that's going to feed the entire community. And then we've got metamorphosis. We know what that's about. Change from the inside out. Something needs to become entirely something else. And what happens in metamorphosis? There's a cocoon. This is a moth, so a cocoon or a chrysalis. And inside that cocoon or chrysalis, the creature that was there dissolves. Everything dissolves, and then it reforms in an entirely new form. There's a death's head moth here. So that's the indication that something, in order for something to arise as new, something needs to die. And then let's look at antler. And what needs to die is the old mindsets. Look over here where we've got all these upside down cards. And it really is an upside down thing that we've got such animosity and anxiety and paranoia about each other. And I mean, it's hard not to when you're living in the US where people can print fucking guns in their own homes that are untraceable. So antler, growth, agency, courage, and shedding. So talking about shedding old forms, coming together, weaving together, stories, efforts, resources, hands outstretched, helping and aiding us go through this metamorphosis, helping each other so that we have connection while we're feeling things dissolve. And then we come out of it with courage. We come out feeling stronger. But we come out having shed something that doesn't serve us. Shedding something that we no longer need. And what is it? It's something that's used to fight. Antlers, you know, they're used to impress and to battle. So we shed those machines of war, those items of conflict, and we transform. Wow. Hey-ya. Let me put these all back. Right, set up again. Hello, Sherry. I'm glad you made it, honey. Oh, we gotta watch that, Samantha. It's Easter week as I'm shooting this, and not Christian, but the Jesus Christ Superstar live tour with Tim Minchin. Just fabulous. The best version of it ever, and it's time to watch that, so I have to be ready to cry. Okay, the things, Samantha says, the things that constrain us, we're finally digesting that we don't have to let them constrain us. Yes, we can let the boundaries dissolve. Or, you know, let it break down. There's that Tower card again. All righty. Who's up next? 1, 2, 3. We've only got 2 left. For her. Bum, bum, bum. The deck of character. And I did interview this deck. And I started to shuffle, and 3 of them flew the hell out. Well, 1 flew out, and it was Fairy. A very Neptunian thing. And then the second that came out was Womb. And then the third thing that came out was Moon. All about nurturing and the unconscious and gestation and transformation and something that's becoming, and you know, the ethereal, the mystical, the magical. Fairies. Neptune rules fairies. Neptune rules the green fairy that lives in the absinthe. And Moon is our unconscious mind and, you know, psychic abilities. Fairy, I mean, it's just so Neptunian. So I asked this deck what it wanted to talk about, and it's like, I want to talk about all this fairy stuff and the womb and the moon. So I'm going to set these over here. And then we're going to do, or should I think I'll put them back, because then it's even more fun if they pop out again. So fairy and womb, hold on, talks about something magical inside of us that's gestating, something that is waiting to come to birth. And I've been, you know, watching some videos and hearing some things now about sound frequencies and these theories about building the pyramids and things where maybe, you know, sound frequencies were used to move things. I watched a thing on Stonehenge, and they were talking about sound frequencies being used to help move those stones. So that would be like fairies, like these magical things that vibrations that you can't see. I mean, I am heartbroken at what we did to Nikola Tesla, and man, I wish he was here now. And then we've got the moon here, from the womb to the moon, the micro to the macro. And the moon talks about the light shining in the darkness, bringing things from the unconscious into the conscious. Now, I am going to leave these over here because I want to refer to them, and I'm forgetting things way too easily. All right, did something flip? Well, we'll find out because I'm going to spread and pull. All right. I want 2 lines of 5, but we're going to be interpreting like on a real spiritual level. I've not done this before with these cards. Okay, 1, 2. And I want you. And then I want you. All right. I'm so excited because my guides are just so on tonight. Okay. Sunken Ship, Inferno, Demon, Weirdo, and Club. Okay, Bed, Sprout, Majestic Whale, Waterfall, and Love Goddess. There's plenty of Neptunian stuff in here, folks. Sunken Ship would be Neptunian. So, all right, let's take a look here. Let's go to the middle ones first, Demon and Majestic Whale. So we're talking about, you know, the airy-fairy things, the magical things, the spiritual things. I'm really looking at that fairy as a statement of spirit and magic and, you know, magical practices. And so we've got Demon up here. And I'm looking at kind of the two sides of our culture's regard for these things. The first is to demonize. You know, the Bible says, no, no, no. We don't do any of those. We don't do divination. We don't do magic. We don't try to know we don't look for insight because we just have to trust God. Just offer it up, hand it over. You know? No. So we can be demonized. You know, Divine Feminine. Hello there, Fairy Womb Moon. This is all about the Divine Feminine. Holy shit. Sometimes it's like poking you right in the eyes and you don't see it. But look at how women have been demonized for every single thing we do. Every single gift that we bring onto this planet, from the very basic gift of making more people to feeding those people, to feeding our loved ones, to healing medicines, to sexuality, to beauty and allure and all of the softness that is the divine feminine. And then the other side of it is this majestic whale. That's taking me to the kind of new agey parts. Majestic whale is an odd one. It's kind of like, think about, you know, going out to observe whales. What's the feeling? It's like, it's so huge and big and awe-inspiring, but also kind of dangerous. Also, oh shit, is it going to knock the boat over? You know, and also things that come up from the deep, things that come up from the unconscious mind. So, and this can talk about maybe in our unconscious mind, sort of those demons that live in there too. Our own internalized misogyny, our own training by a patriarchal culture, how we've been trained to take each other down as women, to be adversaries, we've internalized this warlike paradigm between us and our sisters, you know. And fortunately, I am seeing this dissolve before my very eyes. When you look at what's going on right now, the divine feminine is growing, gestating. She's continuing to grow. All right, let's look at the corners. Sunken Ship, Bed, Club, and Love Goddess. Okay, so Sunken Ship and Bed, this is talking about just something hit and rock bottom, you know, something that used to be afloat and now is no longer, something that's sunk to the bottom, the things that have been lost, the things that we need to let go of. I'm very struck by this image of a cross, upside down though it might be. What, you know, has sunk us in the past. And also, what do we just need to let go? What is it that cannot stay afloat? What can we not sustain anymore? that it's time for the oceans to reclaim. And then we've got bed down here. So we kind of have a sunken ship on the ocean bed, and then we've got bed here. Just kind of, I'm also seeing this withdrawal, this giving up, a feeling of giving up. It'll just never, letting it fall. And then bed is needing rest. That we've got recovery and rest to do. And then over here, check it out, Club and Love Goddess. So here's a bunch of people having a hell of a good time. And here is the goddess of love and pleasure. Okay. So are we talking about like patriarchal stuff here on one side? And then we look at, really bringing the divine feminine into our whole ethos, and the ability to enjoy then and dance and take pleasure in life, take pleasure in all that the earth has to offer, rather than I'm still hooking in, you guys. Let's see, I'm going to see if we got all right. So let me just look at the lines here. So top line, sunken ship, inferno, demon, weirdo, and then club. Sunken ship, talked about that. Inferno is something burning up. So we've got drowning and burning, We've got water and fire, the two primal elements, the two elements of creation. Lightning striking the ocean is what quickened life on this planet. So, this isn't lightning, it's inferno, but it's fire and water. Okay, let me see here. And then we've got the demon. Oh, God, look at this. Look at that cross there. Burn in hell, demon. And then we've got the weirdo. So we kind of progress through this to being considered just New Age flakes and weirdos. But New Age really is something new, and there are those of us that go back to a very old age with our spirituality. But it talks about, being able to let your freak flag fly and begin to enjoy, coming out of this, let the ship sink, let the ship of the church sink. Catholic Church ship sinking. Inferno says there's just a lot that needs to be destroyed other than that too. I mean, I'm looking at hellfires there. Let me just keep going and see where I get to here. So bed. All right. So now I look at bed and sprout, and I think of a garden bed. I think of a bed where this begins. Of a bed where, an egg is fertilized, where there is a blissful union, blissful and ecstatic union. Fire and water come together, and there's a sprout. And then the wonder and the majesty of all of that. I remember when I had my daughter, and I kept her placenta. First of all, I ate a piece of the placenta, and whoo, baby, wild. And I mean, this was right after giving birth, because mammals, like a whole bunch of the rest of them, after they give birth, the mother eats the placenta, and it is loaded with so much iron and vitamins and all kinds of shit. And I ate a tiny little square, and I want to tell you, I've never experienced anything more wild or powerful. I mean, wild. That's the only way I can describe it. It was so far beyond me. It was ocean, but ocean times infinity. And immediately what happened was I felt my uterus clamp down. That's what the placenta does, is it helps, gives you the vitamins and minerals and things to close off those blood vessels. So I remember when I got that placenta out of the freezer, it was in there well more than a year, and then I'm thinking, what do I do with this thing? I got it out of the freezer, and I just encountered it and was looking at it, and I remember looking at, holding it and thinking, this made my daughter. And I'm like, wow. And then the thought was, and I made this. Mind blown. Majestic whale. And then look at this waterfall of emotion, waterfall of joy. And then we have love goddess. I mean, looking at it on a really spiritual level like this, it's kind of odd. Look at how, okay, let's look at the knights. Sunken ship, majestic whale, and club. Sunken ship. Okay, so the ship doesn't belong in the water. It has sunken. The water has claimed it. The majestic whale lives there. Majestic whale wins. And then we've got club. I'm not sure how that relates. We've got bed, demon, love goddess. Bed and love goddess we understand, but demon, the devil made me do it. This idea of our very passions being demonic. St. Paul, talk about a weirdo. He talked about, in some of his letters and things, not that I am versed in them, but having done some reading, that he had this wound, like a self-inflicted wound that he kind of euphemized and talked around, that leads a whole bunch of people to think that he was castrated, that he underwent castration so he would not be tempted. And, back in the medieval ages, they used to, and I think even past that, tell people not to bathe. Here's why Europe was so fucking dirty. You were not to bathe because the sight of your own naked body would cast you into sin, and that was most especially towards women. So, look at the inferno and the waterfall here. Here's the inferno that is not going to survive under a waterfall. Fire and water, which one wins? Water does. Love, flowing, cleansing, healing is what wins, not burning and destroying. Sprout and weirdo. Okay, so we're looking at now our new generation. Every generation is incomprehensible to the one before it in one way or another. But the generation that is coming up now and the one before it, these are the ones that are changing everything. These little sprouts, these little weirdo sprouts that have challenged all of our gender norms and are creating new language around us and making us learn new things. How dare they, But these little weirdos are what is, the sprouts that have been planted are bringing us in very new, unimaginable kind of directions. All right, I'm not sure what else I can get out of that. What do we have here? Hi, Baby Joe. Let's see. For those who are sinking the ship to realize they made their bed. Yes. Yes. I believe that. The sunken ship, this is the bed that we've made to lie in. And then look at, Inferno and Sprout. What I'm seeing there, oh my God, I have the image in my mind of these wildfires that are a natural occurrence in many, many places on Earth. And at Kent State, right up the road from me, every couple years or so, they have these wild prairie grasslands planted, the botany department, planted around the big health center, exercise recreation center, that's what it's called. And every couple of years they burn those grasses, and they have, the fire department there. They put probably flame retardants around the very edge. They have them standing around the edge to watch, but they do like a wildfire would, and then they study what plants come back, how long it takes them to sprout. There are so many plants that require that wildfire in order to sprout. There are certain pine trees whose cones will not open unless they're exposed to high temperatures. So we have an inferno going across, let this ship sink. And then this inferno kind of sweeps across the planet. And I think it's this inferno that we're going through right now with the realization of the damage of war and the danger of our nuclear weapons. Coming out of the spiritual, but you know what. And once this burns through, we burn through this stuff, something new is going to sprout. It's going to pave the way for things that could not have sprouted otherwise. Now, weirdo and waterfall. All right, I'm just kind of seeing new, different modalities, ways of healing, flowing. What do you think, you guys? What do you think? This deck is just, I love this deck so much. All right, let's see here. Okay. Bed next to sprout. You plant your seeds in a bed, more way than one. That's right. Oh, that's okay. Well, count me. We're 13. Hi, Kala. Welcome, dear. Things that the patriarchy has demonized are starting to shed that container. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, what I'm seeing here in this track is, look at the club and love goddess. What I'm seeing here is ecstatic dance and doing ritual that really is all about putting on some fabulous drums and then letting the spirit take you and just go. Keeping images of love in your mind, images of the goddess, of the powerful divine feminine that is here to care for all, and seeing that catalyzed and that spark taking hold and coming into, a blaze. Wow. Okay. Fun deck. I think you're going to be seeing this deck like every week because it's just that good. All right, and we have one left. This goes a lot faster than I thought it would tonight. And that one is, and I hear that my drums stopped again because of fucking iTunes. Okay. I hope they've been playing the whole time. This is the Shadowscapes Tarot. And as I was thinking, because I only had 2 tarot decks tonight, and I'm like, I don't want them all oracles. Give me another tarot. Which one would be good? And I rarely reach for this one because it's in a bag. Did you see that? That whipped right off the top. Oop. And it was upside down. Oh. Because the deck is mixed. Is it? No, it's not. So see, when they go out of their way to turn themselves upside down like that, I pay attention and leave it that way. All right, so Shadowscapes sounded kind of perfect for a Neptunian thing. They're telling me stop shuffling and take it off the top. Okay. All right, good. Page of Wands reversed, the 10 of Pentacles, and the 9 of Pentacles. Okay, wait. Hold up. These are shuffled, you guys. I'm flipping out. All right, we got to take it the way it comes. 10 and 9 of Pentacles. The Page of Wands reversed. So Page of Wands talks about that impetus, that passion, that wanting to do something, to create, that first inspiration. But it's upside down. So we are feeling incredibly non-inspired right now. We are feeling like we don't have the energy to get excited about things. We've been spending so much of our energy getting excited about bad things and excited in a bad way. So that's what I'm going to look out at there, that, for how many years now? Since 2016. When it got intense. I look at 2016 as when things got really intense. We've just been burnt out. We're feeling burnt out and lacking inspiration. Then we have the 10 and the 9 of Pentacles. So we've got, all right, so we're needing to be pulled now very much into the physical realm while we've got all this Piscean energy. So it takes extra energy to keep your feet on the ground and your head out of the clouds with all this Piscean energy. And the 10 and 9 of Pentacles are really pulling us into the physical realm with your loved ones, with your family. We've got, I haven't even talked about the full moon this weekend. We've got a full moon this weekend. I will do a video on that chart probably tomorrow. And we have Easter weekend. So a lot of people are going to be getting together with family and enjoying wonderful food and, physical time together. Then we have Nine of Pentacles, which talks about having those same wonderful sensual times just by yourself, with yourself. And then the next one here is the Eight of Pentacles. Oof. And then Ten of Wands. And then the High Priestess. Okay. Here we go. So we have the burnout. And this also talks about that because of the energetic burnout, we can really be going to the physical realm, to food, to physical pleasures, in order to ground us again, in order to feel like we're having some pleasure in life, and nobody can fault you for that. Then we have the Eight of Pentacles here, talking about bridging those two. And there's a web. Remember the net? There's a web. So this card is talking about the connections, connecting all of the diverse resources, all of our diverse people. And Eight of Pentacles also talks about skill and hands-on working. Look at the spider creating her web, making connections. So this is all about making connections. And then over here between the 10 and 9 of Pentacles, we've got the 10 of Wands. Second time 10 of Wands has come up. 2 tarot decks, twice we get the 10 of Wands. So this is really talking about carrying the entire fucking load. All right. So being so much in the material here. All right. I'm looking at issues that we are having of the extra burdens of inflation. Everything is costing more. Look at the 10 and 9 up at the top, kind of weighing down. And the 10 of Wands here talks about more even being weighed down. So we need to use skill. We need to skillfully connect with others that can help to share this load. It's not ours to carry alone. It's not ours to carry alone. And here, look at 9 of Pentacles. So this is solo. Material things on your own. And she's got her back on this, and she's looking here. So when we have this overburdening because of inflation, and, forgive the term, but trumped up inflation, gas prices do not need to be what they are now. They just don't need to be. And so many other things that are inflating right now that don't need to be that way. It's just that the greedy are seeing the opportunity to cash in. And now we've got it being made even worse because Greg Abbott in Texas has decided that in addition to the federal inspection of every truck that comes in from Mexico carrying perishables, food, vegetables, fruits, in addition to, cars and all the other stuff we get from Mexico, in addition to the federal inspection, he's adding a state inspection because he thinks the federal government isn't doing enough to catch people, to catch drug dealers, to catch people trying to be here illegally. So there's this miles-long line of trucks with perishable goods and truckers having to wait in their trucks for 30 hours without food, without access to water, without, in 100-degree temperatures. So burdens, physical things up at the top, and we're already energetically burnt out, but we need to make connections and see who we can share resources with. I've been talking to my daughter about getting a food supply stored away, taking advantage of just the prices things are at right now and shoring up our stores to make sure that, just to put my mind at ease is what that's for. And then at the bottom, we have the High Priestess. So let's convert this the other way. High Priestess says that we go inward. Very Neptunian. Absolutely. Look at the owl here. And I'm going to hold it up here so I might see it a little bit bigger. Oh, I have a better idea. I think this is one of the books that, yes, that has full-size pictures. Oh, they're not color, but oh well. The High Priestess. So you can see it's kind of this, she's rising up in the air, she's flying, or she's standing on a branch. She might be standing on a branch. But it's like she's got the veil of the temple wrapped around her. You know, the High Priestess shows that veil that separates us from the temple. What's the veil? The conscious mind, right? So she talks about coming into the unconscious. So here we are back again to the whole spiritual framing of tonight's readings. The High Priestess is again that call to do your rituals, do your magic, do it for yourselves, do it for everyone else. Make those energetic connections, which are real things, real electromagnetic information. At the quantum level, making the connections, sharing the burden, and then we have abundant resources for ourselves to share with our families, and hopefully we can turn this Page of Wands. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. Okay, the Nine of Wands, so we've got boundaries again, and the Five of Pentacles. This is definitely about material resources, because the Five of Pentacles talks about, you know, poverty and lack. And the Nine of Wands talks about boundaries, just making that we need to make sure we set boundaries, which is a great wrap-up message for this whole Neptunian thing. What is the antidote when you are losing yourself in the boundaryless dissolution of Neptune? Is you have to set boundaries. You have to check back in with the physical and set your boundaries. So when you're doing magical work, you know, the balance point is you start off being very grounded. You start off fully in connection with the physical, and you draw your boundary of the circle around you. Look at this. You draw the boundary of the circle around you so that you can let go of your defenses and then open up internally in your subconscious mind. You can reach out and connect, right? But you keep yourself safe by these earthly boundaries. And again, the High Priestess is just the call that it's time to get busy, you guys. Time to get to work. So your full moon, whatever you're doing for the full moon on Saturday, and I don't even know what time the full moon is on Saturday. I looked, and then guess what? I forgot. Okay, it is Saturday the 16th in the Eastern Time Zone. The full moon is at 2:55 p.m. Adjust for your time zone, so 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So Saturday night, going to be doing a big, big full moon ritual. Think about all these things. Think about the divine feminine. Connect to her within yourself, whether you are female or not. Connect to her within yourself, because this earth needs her wisdom. She needs to reveal her secrets. This earth needs the motherly feminine touch. You notice we got 0 majors. Oh no, we got this 1 major, but no other majors here. So High Priestess comes out to the fore. She takes all the attention there. But really about sharing resources, doing your ritual, visualizing the great goddess just wrapping her arms around this planet and her people. And then send it out from your web. Send out those threads to connect on every level. To connect on a personal level and an internal level. To connect on a neighborhood level, a city level, a government level, global level. All of these levels. And then have faith in the process, like the Sacred Rebels deck was saying. Cool. Okay, let me catch up. Queen of Networking. There we go. All right. Okay. Wow, there's been a really big lag because some are just now commenting on the deck of character. Okay. Drums, Shadowscape. I love the Shadowscape too, Baby Joe. It's very subtle. It's very soft. Hi, Jake. Hello and welcome. Dancing to Gloria Gaynor singing I Will Survive. Okay. Okay, that was... Alright. And there's Baby Joe. We didn't start the fire. It's raining men. Last dance. You could go rock and stay. Okay, so are we talking about... I think that was still talking about the deck of character. Okay, if you have your castles in the air, leave them there, and I'll put the ground under it, or some other version of this. Okay. We could do it in Greece. Southern Ireland. Oh. You know, I'm gonna have to do it right here because I can't go to Greece and I can't go to Ireland right now. So y'all, let's do it right here. We can go there. You know, how do we go there? Neptune dissolves boundaries. We can be anywhere instantaneously in our mind. You know, in our imagination, which Neptune rules. Imagine that. Yes, please remember to hit the like button. Thank you for that reminder, Darcy. All the things above the High Priestess, this is what we're working with. Yes, that's absolutely it. Yep, there's the owl. Nine of Wands, line up where your energy is going to, because we're rising above Depression era thinking. Well, yeah, and I mean, the thing is, we're going to be confronting these things in real time, you know, and we are not in control of what really goes on globally and how the economic shakeout is going to happen with this war. So we do need to come to terms with our ideas of poverty and use your resources well right now to shore up your stores. Store food. Have, you know, take care of yourself, y'all. Make sure you've got what you need, because we've also been experiencing a lot of geomagnetic storms lately. The sun has been popping off, lots of flares going on. There was a strong geomagnetic storm. So, you know, it could knock out the satellites. It could knock out communication. I'm talking with my family about making a plan of, if we have an event and we can't use our cell phones, where do we go? Where do we meet up? You know, how do we gather together so that we can work together and survive? And my answer is here, because we got all the tools, you know. I'm sure my daughter would want us at her house, but she doesn't have all the cooking tools and the tools and the resources that we have here. So you got to come to Mom's house. I'm sorry. But, you know, and we've got the wood here. We have firewood. You know, these are the things I've been thinking about lately, and there's got to be a reason I'm thinking about them. I'm sure I'm thinking about them because I'm looking at Ukraine and thinking, what if we were over there and suddenly everything that worked is not working anymore? What do you do if that outer structure is stripped down to the ground? What do you do? And that's, I think, what this is talking about, because Nine of Wands is about not so much defensiveness, but boundaries, healthy boundaries. All right, y'all. I do think, I am surprised that this is, it's only an hour and 45 minutes. I'm really surprised. Okay, so let's see. Both boys might be here this weekend. Ooh, a little drumming and howling at the moon. Ooh, yes, yes, that's a wonderful thing to do. Alrighty then. Do we have anything else here? I'm gonna grab the goddess one more time here. Grab the. All right, focus with me, everybody, for a final message of hope from the goddess. What does she need us to hear as her priestesses, her daughters? I'm like digging them way up from the corners so they're getting into the mix, and then we'll see. Now, first thing I touch, there's a hand. So we got Goddess Inanna, which is the perfect thing for springtime. And then hand with seeds. So another thing we need to do is plan our gardens if you're up here in the Northern Hemisphere. What can you grow? We are going to grow potatoes in bins because we can't plant things in the ground here. We can only have things in containers. So I'm going to grow taters in a big bin with a garbage bag, you know. I can't wait. Fresh potatoes are amazing. All right, hands with seeds. Let's just go to the seeds of growth are in your hands. It's not necessary to invent the seeds, but you have to nurture them. Remember the bed and the sprout and the womb? When you receive the seed hand amulet, you are asked to take responsibility for what belongs to you. If you've been moaning about being in the pits, the goddess reminds you not to throw them away. The pits. I have 2 things full of cherry pits over here that I have yet to spread. Plant them. The goddess reminds you not to throw them away. Plant them, water them, nourish them, watch them grow. With enough patience and love, you'll have your own tree of life. Request a helping hand if you need one. Remember the net with the hands? No matter what discomfort you may be feeling, whether it revolves around issues at work, home, or in relationships, the seed that germinates new growth will be found somewhere near the discomfort. Ding, 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 ding. That's a big one. Let me read that again. The seed that germinates new growth will be found somewhere near the discomfort. Don't run away and hide from it. Go straight to it. When you go straight towards the discomfort, you will get through it so much faster than when you run away. In nature, the cure for poison ivy, jewelweed, is often found within 10 feet of the plant. Susan Weed says that poison ivy grows to protect once devastated land. Whatever inspires you to walk in the woods in the first place will reveal an important clue. An antidote is within reach. The gift of discomfort is to be able to identify its source. Find out all the things that make you itch. Be willing to let them go with compassion. Invoke the presence of Kuan Yin for comfort. It's the best that you can do. The responsibility for your health is in your own hands. In times of discomfort, make the promise not to abandon yourself. Neptune rules abandonment. If you've spent an inordinate amount of time protecting and holding on to your seeds, now is the time to plant them, letting them go and letting them grow. Remember that the beginning of the plant is the destruction of the seed. You have to let go of the seed in order for the plant to grow. If you've held yourself back for some reason, your goddess guide now whispers a wholehearted yes. This is the planting season. Start something new. Friendships, creative projects, gardening, classes, workshops, a spirituality or recovery group, or take the first step toward a more fulfilling career. The essential wisdom of this amulet is pray for corn, but first plant the seeds. The goddesses are Demeter, Ceres, Viking Norns, Tara, Kuan Yin, and Ops. Gather images that evoke strength, vitality, courage, and hope. The colors are pearly white and green. Ooh, I want to paint these amulets. The fragrances are cinnamon, crushed sticks, and nutmeg, the ground seeds. And the visualization or the meditation is the seeds of responsibility. Let me read this and we will end with it, okay? All right, let me catch up with messages. We're in transformation, Jake. It hurts. It fucking hurts. Okay, we're all going to be barricaded in our houses with guns. Oh my God. I pray not, but I don't know. I do not know. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Samantha. Yes, the amulets are wonderful. Well, there's a thing called Hope Punk. And there was a thing that I shared. In fact, I'm going to see if I can pull it up right now because it's worth reading. Bear with me. And Facebook, you're going to do that, aren't you? Oh, you fucker. All right, hold on. There. Facebook. Because I go to a smaller monitor when I move it from one monitor to the other. All right, hold on. Here it is. People speak of hope as if it is this delicate, ephemeral thing made of whispers and spiders' webs. It's not. Hope has dirt on her face, blood on her knuckles, the grit of the cobblestones in her hair, and just spat out a tooth as she rises for another go. That is hope. That's what keeps you going in spite of. All right. So, let's read this real quick here. It's very quick, so it's not going to be a deep meditation or anything, but sit quietly and comfortably. Inhale one of the suggested fragrances, or I am wearing a perfume that I used to wear in high school. I'm doing things to remind me of better times, and this is also a reclaiming of the me from that time. So I'm going to smell that. It's a musk. It's wonderful. Inhale one of the suggested fragrances, bringing the aroma deep into the center of your body with long, slow breaths. Imagine that you hold 4 seeds in your left hand. Each seed represents something in your life for which you alone are responsible. For instance, one seed might represent your responsibility to eat healthy foods, the next to ask for comforting. Perhaps another signifies your need to find a rewarding and satisfying job. Focus your attention on the seeds, each one vibrant and alive with possibilities for growth. Imagine being drawn to one of the seeds, one that needs your attention. Let it call out to you. Visualize planting it. Feel the satisfaction in self-fulfillment. What are the fruits of your endeavors? So it would be great to do a spell with seeds this weekend, or even a spell with an egg if you don't do, Ostara at the equinox. Take a raw egg. You can color it if you want. You can color it with Sharpies, with crayons. You can color it with regular Easter egg dyes. You can write on it. I like to write on mine. Write your spell on it. Write your wish on it. And with that little visualization, they had you imagining things for which you alone are responsible. Okay? So you could translate that to your egg and look at the seeds that you want to plant in order to be well responsible for those things, that are yours alone, to really step up and take responsibility. And then you charge the egg, do all your visualization, blow your energy in, however you get your energy into your egg. And you could even do the egg spell where you rub it all over your body and ask it to take away anything that you don't need in your body, any detrimental energies, any illnesses, all that. Have somebody rub it all over your back. And then you take it out, you dig a shallow hole, put the egg in and the dirt on top, and then you stomp it into the ground and you let it release into the earth to bring back your spell. All right, to bring back the magic. Fear is the mind killer. That is absolutely true. Okay, let's see here. More hope or less fear? Okay, more logical conclusion based on current data. Well, Jake, yeah, nobody can blame you for that. It is insane. People have gone insane. The thing you need to remember, though, is that every time they do, surveys and polls and things, those surveys and polls show that the majority of us are the sensible ones. The ones that grab the headlines are the oddballs. You don't see headlines in newspaper, more normal people than not. More functional people on planet Earth than weirdos. No, the weirdos get the headline. Remember the weirdo card? The weirdos are the ones that get the attention. So, and the bad actors, the bad behaviors are the ones that get the attention. So, hope is just maybe choosing not to focus on those things. Choosing to find things that will shift your focus to the other side. I will not fear, for fear is the little mind killer. Instead, I will allow it to wash over me, around me, and through me. And when I turn around to see where it came from, I will only see myself. Ooh, I did a fear altar at Mother Drum one time, and I hung this huge piece of black fabric, stretchy fabric, on a hoop from the ceiling. So when people came in, there was like this black fucking tornado in the center of the room, just this black tube, and it went around the altar, which was a round table. And we talked about fear. This black, and there was like an entryway where you could go inside of it. And everybody had to go up and confront their fear. And it's like we did a meditation of, what you're going to confront. And there is your deepest fear and the thing that generates, so people didn't know what the hell they were going to look at. And of course, when you looked in, there was a mirror. So that was a cool altar. All right. The Litany of Fear from Dune. Oh, okay. I never read Dune. I never saw the movie. Yep. Libra, relationships out front, making things peaceful, a focus on peace, a focus on connection, on negotiations, on diplomacy. All of these things ruled by Libra with this Neptune Pisces thing, you can really take advantage of that Libra energy. Okay. Yes, weirdos have multiplied, that's for sure. Well, they got enabled. They got enabled, so they're coming out of the woodwork. And, we got to... The reason we must hope, the reason, Hope Punk, hashtag, is about hoping beyond hope. Is about just being a fucking badass punk at hoping. When things are the absolute bleakest, I'm going to continue to hope because I'm a badass, right? And it's what's needed when we're getting to despair. We must hope because we're the ones that are going to generate the energies that can push things in the right direction here. Our relationships with ourselves, yes. Used to just be concentrated in Florida. That's what you think, Jake. That's what you think. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being with me tonight. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already. There are a number of ways down below to send me a little tip if you feel so moved. There's an Amazon wish list if you want to send me a deck and get a reading on one of my videos. What else is there? I forget what the hell else is there down there. Tip me an Amazon wish list. That's pretty much it. Oh, you can join my Patreon. It's only $3 a month just to say keep it up, Luna. Makes me feel needed and wanted. Okay. So, yep, that Saturn can take you down the negative path every single time, man. So, it's up to you to confront it with Jupiter and Pisces energy. Jupiter is hope. Jupiter in Pisces is hoping beyond hope. So I will leave you with, yeah, I know it's hard, but when you think about, being an empath, it's tough to be an empath these days because I feel the fear. It's palpable, and yes, we can get sick of the broadcasting of it, but those of us that feel it, it's real. We can't browbeat ourselves out of feeling what we're feeling. We can only embrace ourselves softly, the tender touch, and surrender to the process, have faith in it, and do our best to generate that hope, punk. I'm sorry, Calla. Yes, eat something, Calla. Take care of yourself. What were we just talking about? Take care of yourself, darling. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, Becca, you're going to have your mind blown because there was some really cool surprises tonight. All right, eat something, darling. Everybody have a great night. Thank you so much for being here. I will be big, and I will see you next time. Until then, you guys, I love you. Blessed be.